right, cool. So, BJ, you're going to be up first.
Me first? You just doing this because I said not me?
Yeah, basically.
You're like that douchebag teacher that when you duck down behind your books and the teacher calls on you because she sees you ducking. That's what you are.
I mean, I'm also doing it so, Weston has a point of reference.
It's also because you a bitch. No, go ahead.
So now I need the shit that I messaged you a couple days ago and also weeks beforehand, the information of what the town is called.
Okay, so the
main
thing you really just need is the name of the town, right?
The village, yes.
Okay. And I can name it whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a village of turtle people. What would be a good name?
Tortellini.
I'm not calling it Tortellini, Weston.
You should have thought of that when, you had all this time to do this. As he furiously types into Google.
Oh, here's a good Leafside. How about that?
Leafside. Alright, I like that.
Town name generator?
Yep.
Yeah, you didn't want me to know, did you?
Hey, also, on your character's color there, Weston, would you prefer night sky or night light?
Night sky.
Would you prefer night sky or nice guy? I'm sorry, I'll stop.
You're just as bad as Ed and Dill.
Yeah, honestly, God, he's such a bad influence on you. God fucking damn.
Is this how we're supposed to play? Okay.
Bagyo. Tell me, I can hear you typing. Bagyo. What is Leafside like?
So, I always imagined it as kind of almost like a swamp area. Imagine straw huts, stuff like that. Kind of a off-the-grid type village, they don't get out much type thing. Mostly fishing, some agriculture, but that's about it. Kind of a simple place in the middle of this big swampy forest.
And what was Yogqueg's deal? What was his...
The chief? Alright, so what do you mean by his deal exactly?
What was Yogqueg's basic goal with his whole village? What was the deal with it, and why
he didn't trust outside influences, so he tried to keep the village sequestered to itself.
So I would imagine that he would put some type of barrier up around the village.
They had natural barriers. Imagine those old-time fort walls where it's just like a sharpened tree trunk stuck in the ground beside each other making walls. They had those. He was like a cleric, so he also put up magical wards and stuff too to try to just deter people. Nothing complicated, of course, Just things that would make people not go straight there.
And what was Bagyo like? Bagyo.
So most turtles in that village were all about staying near home, don't venture out too far, home above everything else, be safe. He didn't like that, so he was very adventurous. He wanted to leave, he wanted to go out and do stuff.
Then let's start off this way. The camera shows over a not very well lit swamp as the sun starts rising up into the sky and the shadows of the floor of the swamp start to dance a little bit as the sun keeps moving and moving and moving. And then you hear a few more snaps of branches in the distance as it gets closer and closer. And then out of the distance we see a foot come down of a turtle as it stomps a couple of the leaves that the camera was facing. And then the camera cuts to the backside of this turtle as it's going towards further and deeper into the swamp, as you see more shadows dancing alongside as he's moving towards what looks like this wooden barrier. And as the turtle gets closer, he sees a crack / hole a little bit towards the ground of the barrier as the turtle squeezes through past it into the village. And then we see just a little tiny village with a bunch of other turtles, some very old and some younger and smaller, moving at a slow to rapid pace depending on which one you're looking at. And they're all being flocked to one section of the village. A tiny, not tinier, but a bigger tree with a hollow point in the center of it that leads upwards, but everyone's kind of flocking towards the center of the tree. And Bagyo, you have just got back into the village. What do you do?
Where have I been?
That's up to you. Where have you been? Where do you go on your many excursions when you're...
So I would say that I have been traveling on my probably twice a week. I try to get out trips to the edge of the forest to try to see outside of the forest. I always do that. Bit of nervousness with me just because of the way I was raised to not ever leave. But my desire to leave kind of fights against that all the time. So I always go right to the edge of the forest and I look out at the world, past the swamp. And I never go too far from there. I'm like, ugh. And I always like, coward. And I run back. So I think this time I was at the edge of the forest and I was looking out and I would see maybe someone go by on a horse-drawn carriage or see some people traveling along the road, stuff like that. And I'm just so fascinated by other people. And that's what I've been doing.
Let's say you've done this on a specific day that everyone goes to Yogg-Quegg's. I want to say he's more of like he's a chief, but he's also has a way of talking to people, as in public speaking, trying to give people picture a type of a priest, but it's not really a religious thing. Basically, everyone is invited. It's not mandatory, but it's nice if you show up. So what is Bagyo doing now? And is it Bagyo or Bagyo?
It could be either, really. I haven't decided. I think Bagyo probably sounds better than Bagyo. So, yeah, we'll say Bagyo.
Where is Bagyo going?
All right, so I'm kind of slipping back into the crowd. I've been missing, well, not missing, but I've been gone for several hours. So obviously somebody that knows me would probably realize I wasn't around. I'm trying to kind of like nonchalantly get back into the crowd and move in with the people who are moving about. And I'm probably somewhere, let's say there's a crowd of turtles in front of the chief as he's talking. You see me kind of haphazardly shuffle myself into the back row of the crowd.
So are you trying to be stealthy?
I'm trying to be inconspicuous, yeah.
Can you roll a stealth check?
Stealth is +2. Okay, so I got 16, 17, 18 stealth.
Okay, so you do that fairly well. How old are you at this point? You don't have to give me the exact...
So I have it written down. I am 26. Because I looked up and it says the average turtle lifespan is 50 plus. So I'm relatively young for a turtle.
All right, so you basically make it to one of the back rows inconspicuously, and you're very stealthy about it. You see, like, some people look at you, roll your eyes as you pass through. They know what you've been up to, and they kind of...
It's like it's frowned upon, but...
Yeah, it's frowned upon, and some people have chalked it up to, it's the younger generation. What are we going to do? Whatever. They'll learn one day. But you sit down, and everyone finds their seat, and after a while, there's some type of silence. And then Yogg-Quegg stands up and he looks around trying to make eye contact with people. And then he spots you in the back corner and he basically makes a gesture you would only understand where he grabs at his chest. He has done this to you many times. He keeps his gaze at you for longer than usual.
What does the gesture mean?
The gesture means in my heart. And he hasn't done this for everyone.
Okay, so he cares about me, obviously.
Yes, he cares about you, but he's also worried. After that, he looks back towards the crowd of people, and it's not that many people. Like, how many would you say is in the village?
I'd say the village is probably about, let's say, 78 people, 78 total.
He basically just stands up, and he says, "Leafside, members of Leafside, I know that the days have grown long, and that the days will grow hotter when it comes. But I want you to know that we will come through the night, and we will be fine and alive when the next morrow comes." They chant something towards it. Sounds like gibberish to anybody who just passes by, but to you it knows it's like a little phrase that people know, which is...
Is it in common or is it in Aquan?
It's an Aquan. Diar Bar. And after Yogg says this, they all say one phrase towards him. They say, Diar Bar. Which means, in Aquan, we will be better. Or, we must be better. It's pretty interchangeable. It just depends on the context of the situation. It's, Diar Bar, yeah.
Okay. Is this speech something like the seasons are changing type speech?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then he continues and he says, "Now with this change, we all must understand one thing. that we are for each other, not ourselves. We must live for Leafside, as Leafside has lived for us for so many years. Now, what I want to make clear today before I let you get back to your work is what I mean by living for Leafside is that we must live for each other. And when we do such things like eat food in excess, sleep longer days, or leave the flock for longer than... I just want you to remember that this day and all days should be for us, not me. Diaba. And then everyone chants, Diaba.
Bagyo says it late, so like everyone says it, he's like, oh, yeah, but like I wasn't, like I wasn't really, I was kind of daydreaming a little bit.
And everyone starts standing up.
I stand up with them.
They start leaving. As everyone's like filing out, you feel a hand touch the back of your shoulder.
Oh, hello?
Sorry. Yog wanted me to grab you. He said that he wanted to talk to you in his chambers.
Who am I looking at?
Her name is Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
She's just, you know her, but she's kind of like, she works as a hand of Yogqueg's, a ward of almost like she's basically being trained up to be the next chief of Leafside.
Okay. Is she a close friend of mine or just someone I know?
Just someone you know of. I wouldn't say she's the close. Well, that's up to you. Do you want to be close with her?
No, I think I would probably stay away from just about anything political. So I'm probably friendly with her, but I wouldn't say we're friends.
Okay, that's fair.
Sure. Thanks for letting me know.
No problem. Diarbar.
Diarbar. So I start to walk towards the chieftain's hut.
As you come closer, you see that there's at the very last second there's smoke that starts pouring out of the chimney as there's a tree bark door. You can see through the door if you look at any of the holes that are in the bark. It's up to you.
Do I smell anything? Is there like incense burning? Is it like just like wood smell? Like
it's like incense burning, but it just smells like the usual leaf maple. I would say, kind of like a honeyness,
kind of like a sweet smell. All right, so I push open the grass door and walk into the hut. What do I say?
Yogqueg's backside to you. He's got this like big old scratch into his shell that goes down and it looks like it's chipped off lots of pieces. So much so, if you've looked at it enough, that you could see his actual back through the shell. He's a very old Tortle, and at this point, it looks like he's making some type of drink. And he turns around and he has this long beard that stretches to his knees. And he's holding up 2 cups. And he puts one on one side of the table and he puts his on this side of the table.
Do I know what the drink is by smell or anything? Or
it's basically tea, but with hints of honey.
I kind of bow a little bit and I take the cup and I sit down Indian style on the floor next to him.
What did you think of today's sermon?
It was great.
He eyes you while you say this.
Yeah, and this isn't me just mumbling. This is how he's talking. He's like, "Oh, it was great. Perfect like usual." I take a worried sip of my tea.
Did you listen to what I said?
Yeah, peace and harmony, right?
Well, it wasn't exactly all that. And he smacks the back of your shell.
Ah!
But what do you think it means?
Everybody, I guess we gotta watch each other's backs, right?
Yes, because everyone is watching yours as well.
I guess that's right.
What did you learn today? Before the sermon.
Oh, what do you mean? I kind of shifty eyes.
You know, your excursions outside of the village.
Excursions? That'd be crazy. I don't know what you're... I don't know what you mean.
I have lived many years, and I know when a liar is present. And I don't wish to call you a liar.
So instead of bluff, it's deception, right?
Yeah.
I know that he knows I went out, but I'm gonna bluff him and say I didn't go that far. Here's what I'm saying to him. Oh yeah, but I didn't. Yeah, okay. I went out again today, but I didn't go that far. So I'm gonna roll a d20. Oh yeah, it was. I got a 5, so I failed probably.
I won't even make you roll again for the disadvantage. He makes a sly smile while you're saying this, and he says this unblinkingly. He says, "I don't understand what you younglings like to say is far. When I was younger, far meant from here to that tree in the middle of the village. But if you say that you didn't go out that far, I could assume that you didn't make it to the sun. Bagyo, I just worry."
And I interrupt him. I'm like, but Queg, don't you ever wonder what's out there? And I put my hands out in front of me like in a pleading gesture, like I'm like, don't you ever wonder what's out there?
I know what's out there, Bagyo. And he gestures to his own hands that have like many different scars all over them. Some, like he's missing a finger and a couple of nails, and he's got scars up and down his arms, and even up to some of the scars lead up to where his back starts cracking. And he continues on. He says, "Out there is something that I don't want for you, Bagyo. War, genocide, and just violence. Out there is nothing but hatred and the attempt at riches that never fulfill or satisfy. What I found here satisfies family, love, protection. That is all we need."
And Bagyo goes, yeah. I sigh. Maybe that's all you need.
"Bagyo, I have a favor to ask."
Yeah, Queg. And I look back at you from like I was looking away, kind of distantly, and then I look back at him with, and I care about him, so I look at him happily, and I'm like, yeah, Queg.
I want you to join the Fallen Leaves. You
And
know
what is
what
that?
The Fallen Leaves are basically. It's not like a militia. There's no fighting involved, but it's a group of people that go through rigorous training. Yes, it's like basically a neighborhood watch. There's not a lot of violence, but there's a lot of training, and it takes up basically all of your time.
So it's like I'm going to boot camp.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Why?
Bagyo, this village needs protection, and you need guidance.
I set my cup unfinished down on his table, and I stand up, and I say, you can't just dictate my life like that. And I turn to leave.
Bagyo,
I kind of hesitate at the door. My back's still turned.
Don't leave.
Leaving's all I want to do, and I walk out.
The camera pans back, zooming out from the door. Yog just looking at you as you have left. And where does Bagyo go?
Bagyo, right now, he feels really bad, because there's pretty much nobody he respects more than Yog Queg. He's just basically, he's lost his emotions a bit. He's kind of angry. He knows Yog Queg was trying to help, but it's kind of like a teenager, like being rebellious in a way. I don't hate Yog Queg. I'm just mad at him for trying to keep me from doing what I want to do. So as I leave, eyes tear up a little bit, and I run off into the woods.
There's kind of a wall. How do you get past the wall?
Am I a monk yet, or am I still just a citizen?
You have trained a little bit under Yog Queg's guidance.
Okay, I'm gonna roll an acrobatics to scale the wall.
All right,
so 10 plus 2, so 12.
you scale the wall.
Not well, though. Like, I kind of do it sloppily.
Yeah, so this kind of shows you don't know how to train and what to do. You just try to scale it, and you fall a little bit, and you fumble, but you finally just get over it, and one of your feet crushes through the hole as you stumble off of the wall and start heading into the forest. In the distance, we see a scaly figure looking down at the spot that you just scaled over.
Can I roll a perception to see if I see it?
Yes.
Ooh, nat 20.
Oh boy, did I want you to have a nat 1. It looks like a humanoid figure at first, looking down at you. But upon further inspection, after you noticed, you see it's a Yanti as it comes further with a snake lower half.
Can I roll like an insight or anything like that to know if it sees me?
Yeah.
Ooh, I got a 6. Plus my insight is +2. 8. Do I know if it sees me or not?
Probably not. You don't know if it's looking at you or if it's just there.
I'm scared of Yanti just because turtles are all scared of Yanti, so I'm going to keep running deeper into the woods away from the village.
And where do you go?
I'm heading to really the only place other than my village that I know of, which is the edge of the forest, where it leads off into the real world.
What do you do there?
I get to the edge of the woods. I'm kind of at that line where the trees stop and it leads into a field, like the forest ends officially. I'm standing there right at the tree line. I've got my hand on one of the trees to the left there, and I'm breathing heavily because I've been running, and I take a deep breath. I'm like, it didn't see me. No, there's no way it saw me. So I'm standing there kind of freaked out, unsure of myself, trying to tell myself over and over that it didn't see me.
How long do you stay there?
I'll say I stay there long enough to catch my breath, and then I start feeling guilty. I'm like, I can't run away, at least not until I say goodbye to Yogqueg. Okay, I'm going to give it I'm such a dick. I say that to myself, I'm like, such a jerk. Okay, fine. So I decide in my head to give it a little more time. I wait there for an hour, hoping that the Yanti moves on. And then after an hour passes, I head back toward town to say my goodbyes to everyone. Because right now my plan is to run off into the world. But because of my guilt, I feel led to go say goodbye to Yogqueg.
And when you start heading deeper into the forest, let's say you're just walking there, like head
I'm
shame.
not in a hurry.
Yeah, head in shame, and you're looking just down basically as you're walking there, and you see in the swamp and in the water under you, you see a reflection, and then in the reflection you see smoke in the distance.
So I'm looking down at the water as I'm walking. As I'm walking there, and I look down and see the reflection of smoke in the water. I'm like, what? And I look up, and in the distance toward the village, I see the smoke, and I'm like, no. And I take off running toward the village.
And the camera is now in your point of view as you're just running through the forest, leaves hitting your face, you're tripping a little bit, and then you try to get there, and you finally do get there. And you open into the plain, and you see the wall burning, and you see the huts burning, and you see decapitated turtles, and you see just half-eaten turtles. You see parts everywhere, and
I'm in shock. I stand there for what feels like forever, but really it's only a few seconds, kind of just looking at the devastation. And then I shake my head and I run toward Yogqueg's hut.
As you walk into Yogqueg's hut, you see Yogqueg on the floor with two Yanti underneath him. They look to be dead. It looks like their faces are pulp, but the crack on his shell has been torn apart.
So do I know that, did he defeated them? He fought them?
Yeah, he fought those guys off, but there seems to be a spear lodged into the back of it, between his shell.
Into the crack.
Can you roll perception for me?
Ooh, 3 plus 2, so 5.
Okay, you don't notice much.
Okay, yeah, we can chalk that up to I'm just freaked out. I shout his name. I'm like, Queg, because I always call him. I imagine Bagyo just calls him Queg sometimes. So I go, Queg! And I run down over to him. I inspect the wound. I see that the spear is lodged into his flesh between the crack and his shell. I roll him over to his side a bit. And I'm like, Queg, speak to me.
He looks towards you with his eyes. He tries whispering something, but you can't necessarily hear him.
I lean in a bit closer, yes.
And you hear, Tia Ba.
I instantly start crying, and I hug him. I'm like, no, Yog, you can't go yet. We can't go on without you. I sit there and I keep, like, rocking back and forth, hugging him, and saying, Yogg, no, please don't go.
And at some point, his body goes limp.
Bagyo goes, Yogg! He just yells at the top of his lungs.
I'm going to need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh, nat 20 plus
good
2,
rolls.
so 22.
What happens is you scream Yogg Queg, and just at the last second, you do basically a flip out of the way as a Yanti falls down on top of you with a dagger, and it stabs into the floor.
So it was on the ceiling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Roll for initiative.
19 plus my initiative, which is 2, so 21.
You go first, Bagyo.
So I don't have anything on me right now. I don't have my weapon.
No.
So I'm going to use my unarmed strike, which is 1d4 plus strength.
Alright, one sec, but what you see is this Yanti. It looks like its face has been beaten up a bit to a pulp. It can still see you and it's still moving, but it also has a missing hand and is holding the dagger in his left hand. You probably assume that it's what Yogg Queg has left for you.
So I'm going to make an attack roll against it.
Right.
With my unarmed strike.
Oh, that's a miss.
Ooh, I missed. Yeah, no, I missed. So I claw at it with my, with my turtle claws.
And it just...
I miss.
As you, go for a claw, you go for a claw, and then he moves out of the way, and he pushes you towards Yogg Queg's table.
Can I make any kind of, reflex or athletics to make sure I don't fall prone or anything, or...
Let's just say you're not going to land prone.
Okay.
And as you go forward and you hit his table, it shakes, and above on the shelf, down falls a quarterstaff.
I recognize it as Yogg Queg's staff that he uses, and I grab it. So is it my turn again?
Yep, your turn.
Okay, I'm going to make an attack against him.
That's a hit. That
okay.
hits. Okay, roll a d6. Oof. Oh, okay, describe the attack.
Oh, whip his ass!
I grab the staff off of the table, and in the same motion, I just turn around, wham, on the side of its head if I can. Because where its head was already damaged, I'm going for that.
You hit him with his quarterstaff, you just swing around, hit him in the fucking head, and you, sit there waiting for another attack, and it looks like he's about to move, and then he just falls.
Oh, okay.
And he's gone. He dead.
I've never killed anyone before, so I'm just kind of like, oh god. Oh god.
Now what are you going to do?
I smack myself in the face a little bit. I'm like, no, okay, we gotta go. So I've got my staff, and I go to run out of the hut. Do I see anything else in the room as I'm running out?
You know what? No. You don't. You run out of the room, right?
Okay, yeah. I run out into the main, courtyard of the village.
As you run out, you run smack dab into Melissa.
How's she looking, from what I'm looking at?
Wide-eyed, and she seems to be just crazy.
Like she's hysterical?
Hysterical. That's a better word for it. She's just going over and over. DR bar.
I put both of my hands, one on each shoulder, and I shake her and I'm like, Melissa, we need to go.
DR bar.
I kind of, not hard, I kind of smack her in the face, and I yell her name again.
You smack her in the face, and she was holding something to her chest, and you smack her, and she kind of lets go, and a book falls down to the ground.
And what happens after she drops it?
She has her head outstretched backwards, and then she starts saying again, DR bar, and she's reaching down for the book.
In my head, I'm like, she's compromised. Do I recognize the book?
Yes, you do.
Okay. I recognize it as Yogg Queg's scriptures.
Yes.
So I reach down, and I grab them. I grab the book from her. Do I need to roll anything, or do I have advantage? Did I get it before she did?
I'm going to say you grabbed it before she did, since you slapped her.
Okay, so I pick up the book quickly, and I kind of put it under one of my arms and hold it to the side there. And I'm like, Melissa, are you in there? Melissa, are you okay? Are you going to be okay?
She stares at you, and after she stops saying DR bar over again, she looks at you, and she falls to her knees, and she looks up again, and she says, "You did this?"
Oh.
And she falls to the ground in hysterics, crying.
I'm facing her. I kind of take 2 steps back, like I'm walking backwards away from her. I take 2 steps backwards. My face is just, I look like I've just seen a ghost. Okay, like I look terrible. I take 2 steps backwards, and then I turn and run. So it's like, and I run.
And then the camera slowly pans down to have a little bit of Melissa in the shot as you run into the forest, and the camera fades. And as the camera fades, we're suddenly brought back out of blackness into a shot of the sky as wings flap and flap and flap as the camera pans from the head of an eagle, an Aarakocra, I should say, but with an eagle head, as it pans slightly to the left as the wings are flapping. And as the wings go up, we don't see anything, but when they go down, we see a tinier Aarakocra on the back of this bird, and he seems to be having a fun time.
Now, can Aarakocra fly?
They have wings.
Okay, cool.
The other one on the back seems to be a baby, and he's smiling. The older Aarakocra looks back at the child and says, "Having fun?"
Yeah, go faster. Higher, higher.
He turns back to in front of him, and he goes a little bit higher, and starts going faster as well. From the camera's point of view, we're looking at the older one, and with a brief shot of the younger Aarakocra in the background, and he looks slyly behind him, and then he does a loop-de-loop and just hesitates a little bit in the air and lets the smaller one drop. What would Griff's reaction be to that?
As he falls off his mom or dad, whoever did that to him?
His dad.
He would start screaming, flapping uncontrollably until the wind spun him around to where he was belly side down. And then he just kind of glides through the air.
I like that.
And then starts slowly start to flap until he finally smooths out his flight.
And then the older one starts flapping beside you like, Good job, son! Good job! You're doing so well!
Dad, I'm doing it. Look, I'm doing it.
And he starts laughing and smiling. And he starts looking past the clouds, and he points out and he says, "There it is! West Haven! You can take us home?"
It's so beautiful.
He says, "That's right. We're living there, son. That's where we're going." And then he looks back behind him, and he says, "See that, Eden? I knew it! Our son could do it!" And then we look back and we see another adult Aarakocra, this time a Ravenhead figure, and she goes, You gave me a heart attack there, Griffer. I didn't want you to be, dead, so... Listen, Leo, can't we just get home before, he stops flapping all of a sudden?" And Leo continuously, "Oh, not my son. He's a pro." And he looks back at you, Griff, and he says, "Now, Griffin, look down. Can you tell us which one of those is our house?"
The one with the light on?
"That's right, son." And he starts heading down that way, towards the hut with the light on.
I'll race you, Dad. Let's go.
Can you roll athletics?
Is that D20?
Yeah, D20. Ooh, boy!
+1.
Ooh! So that's a 26.
F you, Dad. Pretty much.
So as you guys are, as he starts heading towards the house, he's like, "Okay, I got this." And then all of a sudden, we just see Griff just speed right past Leo towards the house. And at first, Eden starts speeding up faster to catch on to Griff, but Leo stops her because she thought he was just falling. But she goes, What are you doing? He's falling!" And he goes, "Nah, he's not falling. He's flying." and the camera fades to another shot of the inside of a hut, looking at the door, and then the door opens, and there's Griff, as Leo and Eden just fall behind him slowly, and Leo says, "So what do you think?"
I think you're slow, Dad. I beat you.
Your moves are weak.
Your moves are weak. And he dabs on him.
I like it.
Leo smiles. A smile fades for a second, and he says, "Well, I guess I'll have to prove you wrong later."
Bring it.
Okay, now how about you go find your room? Your choice.
Hold on.
Moving in with Mark. Big penis.
Leo turns to Eden. You're not fam anymore.
Griff runs around the house, going in and out of all the little rooms, and he finds the room with the window facing out from the mountain and into the sky in the open world. And he picks that room because he can look out the window and see pretty much everything.
While you're looking out the window, can you roll perception for me?
Yeah. +1, so 13.
You hear something. There's already a bed in the room. You hear something, and you hear someone under the bed.
What was that? Mom? Dad?
You see a hand, not a winged hand, but you see a hand come from under the bed. And then you see a figure emerge. It looks like a human. He rolls out of the way, and he stands up, and he looks down at you. He says, "Hey, what's your name?"
My name's Griff. What are you doing here?
"Oh, I guess I rolled into the wrong house. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm just looking around. You know how it is exploring, right?"
Sure. I'm gonna go get my mom and dad.
"Oh, you don't need to do that. It's okay. I'm about to leave anyway." And he opens the window, and he starts stepping out, and he's holding on to the edge, and he looks back at you, and he says, "It's nice to meet you, Griff. I'm Matthias."
It's nice to meet you too, Matthias.
"I'll see you later." And he lets go, and he falls, and you don't hear anything. Like, you don't hear a crash or anything, and you don't hear, like, footsteps leading away, but he's gone. And then in walks Leo and Eden. "So, son, is this your room?"
Yeah, this is my room.
"You probably chose the best room in the house, dude. I'm jealous."
You sure no one else lives here?
Of course, son. We bought it. We bought it a few months ago before we left.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. Okay.
Come on, son. We're gonna go catch some food out in the village, and then we're gonna come back.
It sounds like fun, Dad. Thanks.
Then we have like brief shots of you guys going through the village, basically looking for some stuff. Is there anything in the village that you'd want to do? What would Griff want to do in the village?
He'd probably want to go play with the other smaller Aarakocras, but he looks up to his dad a lot, so he listens, I guess, very well to him, minds him.
We see a lot of shots of Griff, Leo, and Eden going through the entire village, meeting a bunch of people. This whole village is cliffside, but there's also a pathway that leads downwards towards lower villages. But this is not I wouldn't say like mainly Aarakocra, but it has a lot of Aarakocra in the village. There's some shots of Griff playing with some other Aarakocra with a sky ball, and then there's some shots of them eating food, and then there's another shot of Leo, Eden, and Griff heading home with a bunch of stuff in bags, food, and some other decorations for the house. And you guys are back in the house. What are you doing?
Griff's probably running around, playing, trying to like jump off the bed and glide and whatnot, and just having a good time probably while his parents are doing like unpacking and whatnot.
Can you roll a perception?
+1.
8. I wouldn't. Here's how I'll spin it. You just noticed that someone lit a campfire in the village through the window.
I wonder what they're doing down there.
Eden walks in and she sits down on your bed, and she says, "So, you having a fun time here in West Haven?"
Yeah, Mom. I love it here. There's so much stuff to do and so many things to see.
I'm really glad. I was honestly really worried. But I'm sure you would have guessed that. It is me.
Well, what are you worried about, Mom?
It just in the last town there was lots of people that weren't very fond of us, and I was worried that you were gonna get hurt.
Mom, I'll be fine, Mom.
I know. It's just one of these days, me and your dad aren't gonna be around to be able to take care of you, and I just worry sometimes because I love you, Griff. You're my son.
I love you too, Mom. But you don't have to worry about that. It'll be a while before you guys. You guys are gonna live forever.
She smiles and she says, "Yeah, of course. And the way you were flying today, you're gonna be the one protecting us pretty soon."
Did you see me, Mom? That was awesome.
Yeah, sometimes I should just be able to let you go and do what you want, but your father's better at that than I am.
Mom, I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
She says, your uncle was a peacock.
I like it.
He didn't know how to fly that well.
Well, his moves are weak. Come on. We all know that.
That's why we're here and Uncle's back home.
Like he's living down here. We're living up here, Mom. You know what I'm saying?
She laughs. She laughs and she laughs.
Uncle Peacock is Bill.
Oh.
I'm leaving that in. No one's gonna understand that, but I'm leaving that. She says, me and your father, kind of want a little bit of alone time today. Nothing against you, kiddo, but we're really tired and we want to get some sleep.
Okay, well, good night, Mom. Tell Dad I love him.
Oh, don't worry. You can tell him in the morning. And then she closes the door after she tucks you in, and then she closes the door and goes to her room. Can you roll a perception check for me?
Do I need to see if I know what they're doing? They're bumping ugly. Oh, do I know they're bumping uglies or what? Do I even know what that is at this point?
I don't think so, but at some point I think you get scared.
I got +1, so.
Yeah. All I'm saying, Mom's about to lay an egg, you know what I'm saying?
I think at one point you're like scared because you're like, are they fighting in there?
Leo! Oh.
I walked in on mine one time and I thought they were wrestling.
Wait, is this like Bagyo or BJ talking?
BJ.
At some point in the night, though, you do hear a knock on the door based on your perception.
What, like his room door or the house door?
House door.
Oh. Hello? Is anyone there? I try to get up and look out my window, but I can't see the front door. So I'm like, okay, so he opens the door. He walks in the hallway. He slowly creeps down the stairs, nervous and scared. He stops and listens to see if he can hear his parents anywhere.
It's just snoring.
I feel like Griff would be too scared to actually go see.
Would he go get his parents up?
Yeah, he would go to his parents' door and knock on the door to see if they're awake.
When you knock, you hear another louder knock outside.
So then I start banging on my parents' bedroom's door.
As that happens, you hear your dad slowly get up, and he opens the door and he says, "Kiddo, what are you doing?"
I heard some knocking on the front door, Dad. It was really loud.
Are you sure it's our door? It's kind of late. Maybe it's the neighbors.
I'm pretty sure, Dad. I promise.
Okay, 1 second. And he puts on some type of nightgown, and he walks downstairs. What are you doing? Are you watching him?
Yeah, I'm following him, but at a distance. And I'm peeking through the railing on the stairs as he goes downstairs.
You see your mother peeking out from behind the door of the room, and she looks at you, and she smiles haphazardly. And you see your dad open the door and look outside, and he says, "Yeah, what do you want?" It's
Oh, like he's cut off. Like he's
Yeah,
like,
he's
what
cut
do you
off.
want?
Mom? Is Dad okay?
She is frozen in shock for a second, just staring at your father. And then you see a hand push your dad down, as he falls to the floor with a cut in his chest. And your mother's eyes widen, and she reaches over and grabs you and pulls you into the room just as people start walking inside. And she closes the door shut, and she looks at you, and she's looking around. There's a window, and she says, I don't know if you can make it. And she opens the window, and she's stunned to see a bunch of burning all over the village, as she also sees these figures marching through the town, masked by the flames. So many people, and you hear screams of people in the distance, and people chanting like some type of demonic hum. And she closes the window, and then she looks at you, and she says, Griff, I need you to do me a favor. And I need you to be as quiet as you possibly can, okay? You cannot say anything.
Mom, what happened? Where's
Don't
Dad?
say anything!
Okay.
Okay.
And she holds you as tight as she can, and she says, I love you, Griff, and your dad loves you so much. I love you, I love you, I love you. And she closes your mouth, and she rolls you under the bed, and she says, don't say anything.
I love you too, Mom.
And she opens the window as the door gets knocked on. As you're looking out, you see somebody start chomping away at the door as splinters keep going across the ground. And there's a hole in there. You can see just a brief look at someone's face. And the hole gets bigger with each shot of the axe. And people just keep heaving and hoeing on this door. And the door finally bursts open, and in walks 3 people. As they're staring, I'm not sure if you can see their faces, but all you hear is your mother screaming, Go, Griff, go! Don't stop flying, ever! Not until you're safe! And she looks back at the 3 figures that have walked in. The figures say, You just did a bad thing. She screams, and she starts throwing shit at them. She starts throwing all the decorations and stuff that you guys just bought today, all the candlesticks, all the pieces of art, the picture frames. She throws everything at him. It hits them, and one of them takes a shot in the head as he falls to the ground. And you think, just for a second, a terrifying second, that he might have seen you. As soon as you see his face, you recognize him. And you remember that was the guy that was under your bed earlier. As he gets up, a piece of cloth falls down. A yellow piece of cloth falls to the ground. As you hear him say, Now you really shouldn't have done that. Your mother starts screaming, and then she's cut off. This bitch just fucking got me in the goddamn eye. Easy, Matthias, we're not here to fucking kill everybody. We just needed... Yeah, I know what we needed. You see your mother's body getting picked up. I hope this bitch can fly. And he throws her out the window. You didn't need to do that, dude. Hell, I didn't. Look at this thing. You can't really see, but he points at his eye. Listen, we just needed the kid. Yeah, we'll find tons of kids in here. Yeah, but that wasn't the... Listen, let's get the fuck out of here. And then the 3rd figure doesn't say anything and just follows the 2 figures out. And you hear creaking on the stairs, and then you hear a giant door slam.
So do I know what's going on?
You basically know what just happened.
Was the window open when she said that?
Yeah, she was screaming out of the window.
Matthias thinks that Griff is out in the world somewhere. So, I think Griff would wait until he didn't hear anything, and he's like sobbing, like emotional, doing the... he looks and picks up the cloth, and it suddenly fills him with anger.
As you are looking at the cloth, your fist around it just tightens. And as it's tightening, we get a shot of Griff looking past the camera. As the camera zooms into him, as he's just heaving and hoeing, it just gets as close to his eyes as possible, and then the camera cuts. So at this point, I want to ask you guys what you guys have done after that, how you guys ended up in Jacobi.
I left the village in shame.
Real quick, what's the time frame? How long is it from when this happens to when we're in Jacobi? Because
I'll
Like,
say
you got-
years later, because you're an adult now.
Yeah, you would have been an adult
Oh,
at this
Basically,
point.
what have you been doing with your life? Bagyo left the village in shame. You know, he's plagued with guilt because he knows it's his fault. She told him it was his fault, and he believes and agrees with her. He feels, he led the Yanti to his village. Basically, he traveled the countryside for years, furthering his monk training, becoming a more and more powerful, more skillful monk. He decided to use his skills and his time to try to fight evil and prevent what happened to his village from happening to other places.
What about you, Griff?
he has this mindset of revenge. And right there, in that moment, and all that happened, it was kind of like a coming of age type thing. He decided from that point on that he wasn't going to be a coward anymore. Because, like, in Griff's voice, he was kind of like like he had his parents as his protector. He felt safe. He was nervous, not a lot of self-confidence. But from that moment on, it, like, lit a fire in him. With that bandana, he wraps it around his bicep to remind him what his mission is. So as the years pass, he starts training. He starts going out into the world and practicing hand-to-hand combat with trees and whatnot, flight, his flying ability and maneuvers in the sky and whatnot. He's dead set on getting revenge. And like when that bandana fell at his house, it was a newer bandana, I would imagine. Bright yellow. Years later, you look at it and it's a faded yellow. It's got a couple tears in it, but it's still tied to his bicep. And he's just been kind of training and kind of like a loner.
He's gone on some adventures, but like over the years, you have found out that the buzzards are the ones who are to blame for everything that happened. That was a basic raid on the village. They're not the type to like kill people, but they were after something. And from what you noticed, it was you. You don't know why, but
Okay, I was about to ask, do I know why they want?
they were after you for some reason. Maybe it was just because you're an Aarakocra. Maybe it was something different or bigger altogether, but you don't know. But at this point now, you guys have ended up in Jacobi during the Festival of Spirits. It's not happening yet, but let's say the next morning it's going to happen. The reason that you are there, Griff, is because you have heard rumors that the buzzards...
They're gonna raid?
Not that they're going to raid, but they have been like in packs heading towards the northwest. If you look on the map, there's a bridge, not a world bridge, but it's like a bridge that has been made that no one knows about. I forgot what I named it, but it's on my map. They have been headed on that bridge, and
I see them.
Jacobi is kind of on the first village or town that you see coming out of that bridge, so they might show up there. So that's why you might have been in Jacobi.
The reason Bagyo's going to Jacobi is because he heard of, he's always heard about big cities over his years of travel since he's been out of the forest. He's kind of avoided them up to this point, but he's heard that big cities are usually corrupt and full of crime and stuff. So he's going there to try to make a difference. Because I don't know if you've seen Angel?
Yes, I have.
That's the mentality he has where he's done bad, so he's trying to make up for it. But he doesn't feel like anything he does makes up for it. So it pushes him on to keep trying to make up for it. So that's why Bagyo is going to Jacobi.
Here's how I want this to open up then.
Real quick, and I hate to interrupt you again. What is the predominant race of Jacobi? Like what type of city is it, like racially wise? Like is it an elf city or is it a human city? Is it a melting pot?
It was a melting pot, but because of the Genasi thing that's going on right now, there's a lot of Genasi going on.
So they've kind of taken over in a sense.
Yeah, this is a foothold of the Genasi because it's right outside of the bridge that people live on, and they like to keep this place to them. They're not going to be the main enemy of the story. I want to stop that thought right now, but this is a lot of Genasi are here. But other than that, it's a big melting pot. The camera opens up. I want to say that the way that this is going to open up is that there's a spark in the middle of the screen, say the camera, and then it starts moving around in circles. It starts to move farther out and lighting up this town of Jacobi. This whole town is not an island, but it's in the center of this big moat with bridges from, like, small Gothic bridges from the other side going into the town. I wouldn't say it's the biggest town, but it's pretty big. Got all these different houses, and there's a big old tower in the middle of it that doubles as a clock tower, and also, as the camera goes forward, we see all these different people getting together, like starting some stuff. Picture like in Kentucky at court day before everyone's there, but they're all just setting up. They're setting up for a festival, and there's so many different things. There's people out there getting dressed up, and as the camera continues, we just see more shots of people walking around, people in magic gowns, and people who are just normal people. Jacobi citizens, I should say, and then we have beggars, and then we see children running about, no one really noticing them. And then we pan, and we keep panning, and we pan, till we see a little shot of this place, of this sign that says House Cat Tavern, with a picture of a little cat inside of a bird cage, and he looks very happy with himself. And then the camera pans down to the door, and the door opens, and the camera pans in, and we see a whole mess of people surrounding the bar, not necessarily having the greatest of times. There's one person that's in the middle of the bar, but they're singing, it seems to be. They're having a little fun time. And then we see at the bar an Aarakocra with a drink in his hand, and then a couple seats down the row, we see a Tortle just looking around.
So we're in the tavern?
Yeah, and you guys have not met yet.
I'm going to say that I am drinking tea. I'm going to say I don't drink.
All right, that's fair. What of Griff?
Fireball.
Fireball, baby.
Griff, he probably drinks.
He probably drinks.
Probably drinks. Since he's trying to deal with all this.
Let's say in this universe, Fireball whiskey is whiskey that's made by wizards. Huh?
That's fair. That's fair. It comes from the wizard town of Autumn's Rise.
Okay, and they call it Fireball after the spell Fireball.
Can you guys roll perception for me?
No, I can't.
Oh well.
No. Wes
damn.
got a 1. He don't see. He's blind.
Are you drunk, perhaps?
Probably. We'll say
Let's say that. Give him disadvantage on it. Say he was drunk.
I'm
He's
buzzed,
tipsy.
dude, yeah.
My
Yeah.
perception
Pretty lit.
plus 2. So I'm at 40, 50. I'm at 16.
Oh, you already rolled. Oh, I was looking for that. Bagyo notices in the bar. Then you know
He
bartender.
likes to people watch.
Then I guess with your roll there, then you have talked to the bartender is this pink-haired woman, high elf, I would say. She's got a nice smile with these big eyes. You know, her name's Isabel.
I'm gonna roll insight to see if she's hot.
To you?
Yeah.
All right, I guess.
Oh, 7.
Yeah, she's not your type, I
No,
guess.
I'm like, where's her shell? That's stupid.
But you've basically known some of the people in the bar. You've talked to a few of them. The bartender's name is Isabella. You've noticed a few humans that have walked in. There's not a lot of humans in this town, but the few humans that you've seen, Griff, you have been kind of skeptical about, because in your travels, you've accumulated the knowledge that all buzzards are human.
It's a predominantly human organization.
Buzzards became a thing after the human government got shut down, but there's a couple humans that walked in earlier that are just at the bar down the way near you, Griff. And besides the bartender, there's also a few others in the bar. There's the one person who's singing, and then there's a couple half-orcs and a dwarf. Bagyo, you notice a dark-skinned half-elf walk in with not a grimace, but more of a focused face, staring around the bar. And he makes eye contact with you, Bagyo, but then he drops his gaze to find a booth and sits down.
Does he look like he's in some kind of trouble? Does he look distressed?
He doesn't look distressed. He looks more along the lines of just kind of what you are, which is looking.
So he seems to be looking for something. When he met eyes with me,
Yeah.
I kind of gave him a nod, trying to be friendly, basically.
He also nods back, but goes and gets into the booth.
Bagyo licks his lips when he makes eye contact.
Griff, what are you doing at the bar specifically right now?
I got my head down.
He's trying to get good, you know.
Drinking a little bit. Getting pretty lit. Thinking.
How drunk would you say you are? That way DJ can determine any sort of negatives that come from it.
I'm pretty lit. Like, I can barely hold my head up. I've just been so... Although I don't want to be considered a drinker, Because I'm on a mission, you know?
So you're just having a fun time before, like, the real mission stuff starts.
Yeah, he's relaxing. I would say Bagyo's sitting there sipping his tea and he's flipping through his book.
I want to say that Griff, though, has to pee really badly, and there's a bathroom.
Roll a pee check?
I don't want to do
No,
this.
I'm kidding.
What's Griff doing? He notices he has to pee bad.
He notices he has to pee, so he finishes the last of his drink, slams it on the counter, and starts to get up to walk towards the bathroom.
When you slammed it, Isabella jumped at that, and she's like, oh! And she runs over there and grabs it and starts cleaning it. And as you start going to the bathroom, which is near where the humans are, it's basically you walk down.
Are the bathrooms labeled?
Yeah, it says
So,
bathrooms.
like, would I know he's in the bathrooms? Okay.
Yeah, you walk into the bathroom, and can you roll a perception check for me?
Damn.
Can you do that with advantage?
So what does advantage mean? Because that
Advantage?
advantage doesn't really exist in 3.5.
Advantage is you roll it twice and you take the higher of two numbers.
Okay.
I'm giving you advantage because you're walking past the humans, and I feel like you'd be more...
Okay.
More on guard. Okay.
So roll that again. Okay, so a 12. Okay. You hear, as you're walking past them, you just hear, goddamn Aarakocras. I want them to suck my Aarakocra. And they both...
Griffin's like, okay. I see you.
And the two start laughing like...
No, I feel like Griff chuckles a little bit because he thought it was funny, but then he straight faces. Like, that's not what I'm here for.
No, Griffin's like, that's pretty funny. It's racist, though, but that's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. You son of a bitch.
Are they anywhere to where I could roll any sort of perception to see if I heard them be mean to him?
Yeah, they're still there. It's not the quietest bar, but you can try. Roll a perception.
My perception, I got a 9+.
Unless it's a +3, you're not getting it.
Crap, I got +2. Okay.
Yeah, no. Nah, you didn't hear it. Do you just continue on to the bathroom, or are you gonna stop and do something?
I stop and I look at him.
They look back at you and you're like, yeah, mate.
What'd you say? Can you repeat that?
I said I want you to suck my Aarakocra.
You think that's funny, huh?
Yeah, that's why I was laughing, mate.
I'm about to give you fucking people's elbow here, bitch.
Do I notice the scuffle about to start?
I mean, if you were watching him get up and go to the bathroom, I would assume that you're seeing this.
I'm going to say I was watching him because he's the first Aarakocra I ever seen. So yeah, so I see them kind of having an altercation. Like, I'm still sitting there, but I ready myself. I'm like,
So Griff takes the dude's drink, drinks it himself, finishes it, and throws it against the wall, and it shatters.
Isabella in the background, she says, oh, come on! And then the human says, listen, mate, you better pay for that drink, and you better pay for it now, or else things are going to get ugly. And he reaches down and puts his hand on the hilt of his dagger.
okay, I feel I have to do something here. So I'm going to stand up, and Griffin and that guy are going to hear from across the room. They're going to hear, easy now, fellas. And I've got my staff not in a fighting stance, but I'm kind of like using it like a walking stick at the moment. And they see me stand up, and I'm kind of looking at them sternly, and I'm like, easy now, fellas.
He looks back at you and says, no one's talking to you, Franklin.
Oh.
Frank! Okay! Okay! Where I come from, them's fighting words.
Stay out of this.
No.
This isn't your fight.
He says, so am I going to get that 2 copper, or am I going to get that 2 dapper when I get in your... I'll just cut your fucking neck off if I don't get that 2 copper.
Well, you better
There
not
should be
miss.
no cutting of necks today, sirs. And I walk over to him.
What do you want, Turtle?
Listen, Birdman, I know that these men antagonized you, but do not sink to their level. And I look angrily back at the men.
The other one elbows the other one and says, looks like we're going to get some turtle soup here, Eric.
Eric?
That triggers me because I saw my family and neighborhood be literally eaten as food. So I smack him on the side of the head with my staff, not as a killing blow or even to try to really hurt him, but I want him to feel like I want him to feel pain. Like I go whoosh.
You bitch slap.
And he goes, ah! And then he reaches down for his dagger, and
I grab...
Isabel...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. He goes to reach for his dagger, and Griff grabs his throat.
And he goes, "Eh."
Don't you dare grab that dagger, or it'll be the last thing you do. And as Griff is saying that, his grip is getting a little bit tighter and tighter.
The guy's like trying to reach for his dagger.
Does Bagyo notice anyone else reaching for their weapons?
If you're looking around, you notice that the dark-skinned half-elf that walked in is staring daggers at you guys. Specifically at you, Bagyo, and Griff, kind of pissed.
How far away is he from us?
Yeah, 15 feet.
Oh, okay. Does any of the other three guys around us, are they pulling out anything? Or just the one guy?
No one's pulling out anyone, but the person who was singing stopped. Isabella walks over. She stops and she says, "Can we please not have another fucking murder in my bar?"
Oh.
Okay. Literally, Bagyo goes, "Another murder?"
This isn't my first rodeo, okay?
Bagyo goes, "What a dreadful place."
If this guy minds his manners, there won't be. And he lets go of his throat.
The other one says, "Come on, Bill, let's just get out of here." "Eric, these guys made a fool of me. We're gonna let these guys make fools of us? Is that what we do? Is that what we do? Is that what the buzzards do?"
Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh.
Wait, repeat.
No.
I'm trying to shut my door and he's pushing it open.
Stop having a strong dog, dude.
Okay, door shut. Oh, God.
You need a little weakling like Bam Bam.
Iris, please.
Iris, please.
I love you.
I love you, but
What
go
level,
away.
What level does Weston get his animal companion? Is it 4?
You can get an animal companion at any point.
I know he's a ranger, right?
No, he's a swashbuckler.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I thought he was a ranger.
Alright, what did the guy say? Or whatever? I missed that. My bad.
No, never mind. It was not.
No, say it. No. Say it. It was a big deal. Oh, no, you know what? No, let's say that Griffin missed that. Bagyo's going to say, "What are these buzzards you speak of?" And I stick my staff, the end of it, up against his chin, lifting his head up.
Which one are you doing that to?
The one who said the one who mentioned the buzzards.
You know, you're just playing dumb.
I don't play. He's got a low intelligence, remember?
I don't play.
Bagyo's like, "I'm not playing. Who are they?"
He pushes your quarterstaff out of the way, and he says, "The buzzards are the baddest humans in the lands." And then you see the other human just slap his forehead.
Okay, so, yeah, Weston, this guy just said he's part of the buzzards.
Oh, that's what I missed. So how'd you join these buzzards?
"Oh, what? You trying to be a part of this? What, with your feathers over here?" And he like,
"Oh, you feathers over here, son?"
Oh, feathers.
This guy went from Australia to fucking Boston.
Forget about it.
I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
"You can't be part of the buzzards, mate. You're not a human, and you ain't nothing."
And Bagyo looks at him and says, "Everyone is something."
And then Griff grabs his throat again.
Isabel screams and she says, "If you're gonna do this, get out of my bar!"
She's like, "Kill him outside." The bar's haunted enough.
So where are these buzzards you speak of?
You know what? He's reaching for his dagger at this point.
Bagyo's trying to be nonchalant about it because he doesn't want to look dumb. He leans over to Griffin and says, "What's a buzzard?" He kind of whispers it in your ear.
Should I reveal at this point? Like,
that's up to you. That's completely up to your character.
Okay, I feel like Griff, even though he's a loner, he starts to feel comfortable with Bagyo.
Okay, just because of how nice he is.
Yeah, and he's like, "They killed my family."
Bagyo goes, "What?" And he puts his staff back towards the guy again. When?
"Listen, mate, I don't know nothing about that. All I know is what's going on here."
Where are they?
Where is she?
And then you hear Isabel say, "Get the fuck out of this bar!" And she's like, she walks out from behind the bar.
Language, dear woman.
BJ, if you look back, you notice the dark half elf is gone.
I'm like,
Can you roll a perception check?
oh. 4.
No. You would have had to like roll really high for this one.
Bagyo goes, "Curiouser and curiouser."
She opens the door, and she basically says, she points out there, she says, "Ow!"
So Griff grabs the dude.
Bagyo is following after Griffin as Griffin drags this guy outside.
But to open a can of whoop ass.
Farewell, my lady. We shall enact swift justice upon this.
And she closes the door right there. You don't finish.
Okay.
She's just over the shit at this point.
Yeah, so she calls in the middle of Bagyo's big speech. She closes the door in his face. Okay, I like it. Bagyo's like, okay, and he turns around to Griffin.
Now you guys are basically in this big alley outside.
So are we out back or out front or what?
You're out back now in front. She told you to get out back. So now you guys are in an alley, and you I want to say, Griff, you chucked the first guy into the wall. Bill is what the other guy called him.
Now, are his friends following us?
There's only two of them. Yeah, so it's Bill and Eric is what they said.
Bill and the other guy who told me to suck is Aarakocra. Got it.
So we're not dragging Eric. So did he just kind of follow us out here?
He basically followed out. He's got his pointer finger and his thumb like on the bridge of his nose.
Okay. He's like, dang it.
He actually gets in front of Bill and he says, "Listen, before this gets even worse out of hand, we're just passing through. Can you just let us go? I'm sorry about your family. Did that help?"
But where are they?
Your family, you just said they were dead. I don't...
I meant the buzzard, you dumbass.
We're just passing through. We're not trying to be in numbers. We're not going to raid this place. We're just trying to get through, okay?
Alright, so I punch this dude in the face, and then I back up.
Bagyo kind of puts his arm on your chest, Griffin. He pushes you back a little bit after you punch the guy and he says, "Do not sink to that level, friend. They say they did not kill your parents. We shall find the ones who did.
But
Tell us everything you know." And I point my staff at him.
Bill tries going forward with his dagger now drawn, and Eric stops him and he says, No, that one was free. Another one, and we're gonna have to start some stuff, but please, I don't want to kill tonight. I just want to get out of this goddamn town." "What are you talking about, mate? They just laid one into you, and they threw me into this wall. We gotta kill him now." "Listen, let's just get over this."
So Griff lets him go. He realizes that he ain't getting nowhere with these two.
Bagyo goes, "Fare thee well, travelers. I hope peace finds you."
As Eric is pushing Bill out of the alley, he looks back and he says, "What was your family? Like, how long ago? What were the names? What's your name?"
My father's name was Leo, and my mother's name was Eden. It was West Haven, years ago.
His eyes widen for a second, and then he said, "What's your name?"
Griffin, but they call me Griff.
Can you both make perception checks now?
Got it.
Ooh, nat 20 for Weston and the 2 for me.
You see the man known as Eric, he starts to say some stuff, but the second his mouth starts opening, Bill turns around with a knife and starts to run, and things are in slow motion. You notice that there was a fly just like around when you walked out into this alley, Wes.
Like just a regular fly?
Like a bug?
Yeah, like a bug. There's just a fly, but you're like, oh, it's back alley. But like, there's dumpsters, so obviously there's flies. You didn't notice. But the fly starts heading towards Bill as he's charging with a knife.
Towards me?
No, towards Bill.
Wait, no, Bill's charging.
Bill is towards you. Yeah, that's what you just noticed on your net 20.
So after we just let him go, Bill still tried to come back and hit us?
Yeah. And then the fly started heading towards Bill, and then out of nowhere, the fly starts transforming and getting bigger, and as it transforms, it turns into the dark-skinned half-elf that you saw in the thing, places both feet onto Bill's face, and pushes him all the way down to the dirt, with a short sword now pointed towards Eric's face.
Griffin obviously noticed it because of the 20, but does Bagyo now notice it that it's such a spectacle now?
He doesn't notice that the fly did anything, but he did notice that Bill turned around.
Does he notice that that dark elf is now here out of nowhere? To him,
yes,
it's out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. He just appeared.
Bagyo goes, "Ah, magic!"
And then Eric goes, "No shit."
Who are you?
Yes, give us your name, traveler.
"Don't worry about me. I'm just here for this." And he takes the short sword and he slices a little bit off of Eric's cheek.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
And he puts it into a tiny little tube, corks it, and then he pulls out some stuff from his pocket, puts it into his hand, and blows it into Eric's face. And Eric falls down.
What have you done to him?
It's easy. It's just it's whatever.
What?
Here, I'll show you. Come here.
Why'd you do this?
Here, I'll show you. Come here, both of you. He pulls 2 more hands out of his pockets, and he wants you guys to come closer towards it.
I'm gonna do what would be the equivalent of a sense motive?
Insight.
Okay, I'm gonna roll an insight against him when he tells me to come. When he tells me to come take a look. 13 plus 2.
15?
Oh wait, I have insight as a skill profession, so I get 2 more pluses to it. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Okay. I don't think he necessarily wants to show you what it is. In a sense, he does. It seems like he wants to do the same thing with the powder that he did to Eric to you.
Bagyo starts to take a step forward, hesitates, and says, "You think you can pull these games on me? Come clean!" And I point my staff at him.
No. And he grabs the 2 bodies.
What, of Eric and Bill?
Eric and Bill. And he disappears, and so do they. But Griff, you notice at his disappearance is him turning back into a fly.
And did I notice that, or is it still back to my other perception check?
It's back to your other perception check. But the other 2 bodies, Griff, you have no idea.
I say, what type of sorcery is this?
Have you just... What just happened?
I do not know young Griffin, because I heard him say his name. So I do not know young Griffin, but there's definitely sorcery afoot. And he kind of looks around inquisitively at the surroundings. I'm going to roll a perception. Do I see anything around us? 7 plus 2. 7, 8, 9.
You just see the alleyway. There's nothing.
No signs of anything?
Yeah, there's nothing that the bodies have left, like ashes or anything like that.
Okay, but yeah, so I basically say, I don't know young Griffin, but there's definitely some sort of sorcery afoot.
But did you see where he came from? The dude was a fly.
A fly? How do you mean?
He literally transformed from a fly. And he turned back into a fly. Like, what the fuck?
This is definitely some unnatural works here.
I never caught your name.
Ah, yes. And I pat my hand on his shoulder. Call me Bagyo.
Bagyo. I like that.
Isabel opens the door,
Okay.
and she says, "Are they dead yet?"
Yes. They're dead, I guess.
All right. That's going to be 5 gold from you guys.
Bagyo, pay the woman.
Is she are you extorting us?
Listen, you came in here, tried to kill my bar, and then you went outside. You either give me 5 gold or I'm going to go tell the militia.
Fine. This one's on me. Here you go.
All right. At this point, you're going to have to keep track of your gold. I don't know how much gold you guys have, but like
how much
we're going to have.
Say we started with?
Well, we're 5 down, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
say
let DJ say what we start with, and then we can gain from there.
I want to say Bagyo has 20 gold, and I want to say Griff has accumulated about. I want to say he's got 50 gold.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a mercenary, so he's made some money.
Are you peeing?
No, I was watering my gecko.
So you were peeing?
No, that's not a euphemism.
You
have a gecko?
Yes, I have a gecko. His name's Nacho. Leave him alone.
You know what? I'm not going to make you guys roll perception. This is what happens. There's a group of kids that start running through the alleyway. In a hurry, they look a bit urgent and terrified, and they run past you guys into the bar.
Kids running into the bar?
Yeah.
They're not old enough! And I go in after them.
And Isabel says, "What are you talking about?
Children do not drink. A bar is no safe haven for a child."
Are you a child?
I am not a child. These children that just ran past.
What children?
Do I see this too?
Yeah, you see the children as well.
My God.
Did you not?
They ran through the bar, and some of them hid in different places, and other people walked out of the bar, ran out of the bar again.
So she didn't notice them?
No.
Did I see where they hid?
Yeah. You saw a few of them go into the under the tables. One of them went behind the bar.
My fair woman, simply turn around. Look upon the table behind the counter.
She looks around and she doesn't see anything. She turns back and she says, You didn't even drink anything.
Bagyo says, "What's happening?" And he grabs the sides of his head and turns around.
Are you okay, woman?
Are you okay? Did they hit you in the head before you killed him?
What's going on, Bagyo?
I saw these children.
I know. I did too.
The bar woman did not see them.
Did we get poisoned? Are we hallucinating?
I grabbed Griffin. I said, maybe.
I feel like you want us to go somewhere with this, Deej.
I mean,
If
I'd like you to think about it and then just like you guys can do whatever you want. That's my main rule in any campaign.
I'm really bad at this.
No, you're not. You're doing much better than I thought you were. You literally just have to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Here's the thing. Where are you guys gonna stay tonight?
What time of day is it right now?
It's getting late.
Griffin,
Yes.
you paid the bar woman, which was extortion, and it was wrong. But I shall let this one pass, for we did cause a scuffle in her bar. Allow me to let you stay room and board in a room that I've rented here in town.
Well, I appreciate Bagyo, but I feel like I have to do this by myself.
Bagyo grabs Griffin by the shoulder and says, you must do nothing by yourself, son.
After you say that, Isabel goes, oh God.
She probably thinks we're gay.
The door opens and in walks Genasi. He looks a little bit rough for edges and he's holding...
Do I know what a Genasi is?
How long has it been since you left the Leaf side?
Probably a couple years.
There's no way that you didn't or haven't heard of a Genasi. They're basically the
predominant race.
Not predominant. They're the ones trying to take over the entire Eldric Grid.
Okay, so I look at it with like a curious look.
He walks over to the bartender, Isabella. He says, "So, Isabella, yeah, we're gonna need that thing we talked about." Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't be like that. And he reaches for his sword and he pulls it out and he puts it on the bar and he says, "It'd be a shame if these people met a hellacious end." She sighs before handing him a big bag of some jingly objects. You would assume it's some type of payment. And then she reaches under the bar and hands him a big old... It's kind of like a canister, but it's a glass canister that's corked and it has a bunch of multicolored liquids inside of it.
So, do I see him doing this?
Yes.
We both?
It's kind of hard not to. Yeah, both of you. It's kind of hard not to.
Okay. So Bagyo's gonna walk up to him, and the guy hears, "Is there a problem here?"
He turns around, and as he turns around, Isabella goes, "Oh, God, just stay out of it." The Genasi says, "No, of course not. There's no problem here, unless you want to start one." And he pokes your stomach like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
And at this point, Griff walks up, steps in between them. So what's your end game?
My end game? Like, I came in here to collect taxes, and I came in here to collect something else, and now I'm gonna go back and give it to the mayor? Like, what else do you want?
I just saw that you threatened my friend over here, and
I'm gonna roll a sense motive to see an insight to see what his motives are. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Ooh, an 18.
Yeah, so you don't have to tell me exactly what his motives are, but like tell me what his motives are leaning towards.
It looks like he's doing what his job is, which is collecting taxes, but it seems like something else is not.
Bagyo looks at him and says, "I do not recall taxes being anything other than money. What's in the jar?"
He turns to Isabella and he says, "Isabella, thank you. You know, big mouths sink ships and all that. Haha." And he starts heading out of the bar.
Yeah, that guy looks fishy, Bagyo. I don't like the way he looked.
Should we pursue him, Griffin?
If anything, yes. I say we follow him.
Okay, so we're gonna roll stealth to follow him through town.
Roll stealth.
So both of us will.
Oh, damn.
Oh, dang. I got a 6.
Come on, baby. Give me what Papa ordered. Fuck!
We both
We get
very
caught,
poorly follow this guy.
Like,
All right.
like we're rolling like across the street, hiding behind trash cans.
We're making the with our mouths like we're making that sound.
You guys are heading down the street,
Damn.
doing those things, and you see him very suddenly dart into an alley.
Okay, I just imagine, since we're very unstealthy, that we're both running like head down, our arms like right behind our back, like.
Oh, like freaking Naruto.
Like
Naruto?
No, yeah, kind of. Like, remember when Ed was like, it's so aerodynamic?
That's what that is. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Bagyo is going to pick up the speed and run around the corner after him.
As soon as you pick up the speed and you run around the corner, you see it leads into a dead end.
And at this point, Griff is on the building top. He flies up and perches on.
Okay, then this is what Griff sees. You perch up on top of that, and you see Bagyo run into this dead end as these two other people close the entrance that he just walked into. And
Bagyo turns around and goes, something's afoot.
Yeah, it's probably you guys. Where's your friend?
Bagyo looks back. Bagyo didn't notice Griffin fly up, so Bagyo's like, where is my friend?
Looks like you guys weren't friends that long.
And then you heard this screech. This eagle screech.
Caw! Caw!
Caw! Caw!
Caw!
Okay, and then... okay, and then
he
Griff...
feels elbows from 30 stories
Griff
up.
drops into the alley, hides behind like this little like post, even though he's like fully like covered. He thinks he's fully covered. He's like, Bagyo, do they see me? Do they know I'm here?
Bagyo goes, I believe so, dear friend.
Damn it. And he just walks out from behind and walks up to the guy.
Okay, we probably know who you guys are. So, what we're gonna have to say right now is, get out of this town. There's no way you're gonna stop this.
Bagyo goes, stop what? What is there to be stopped?
Don't play coy.
What does koi mean?
And the other one says, Sakun sekenfon. You guys don't understand.
This dude knows Spanish.
No, Bagyo, no, literally after hearing that, Bagyo leans back to Griffin and says, I think he's casting some kind of spell.
The other one, after saying that, holds out their hand and a flame appears in the palm of it. And
Griffy's like, okay.
Okay. I see you. And then I flap my wings and I put it out.
Ooh! What would he have
Yeah,
to
what
roll
would
for
I
that?
Attack?
Making athletics.
Athletics. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Nat 20.
If not...
Come on, Daddy needs new
Damn.
Ooh, 13.
I only got +1. 14.
I'm gonna say it goes out, but at the same after that,
It reappears?
it goes out and then it comes back.
Damn, this guy's good.
Bagyo goes, Griffy, we're not dealing with any ordinary ruffians.
He's going to cast a fireball at you guys.
Where at on us? Like, directly at me, directly at him, in between us?
Is it one big one?
It's in between with a.
It's an AOE spell, Wes. It hits everyone.
It's 5 to 10 feet. So
okay, is it like in 3.5? Can I roll a reflex against it?
You can roll reflex.
So 10 plus.
No, it's a dexterity saving throw. So you just add
dexterity. So okay, yeah, +2, so 12.
US.
Do I roll? 15.
So it's going to be plus your dexterity modifier.
My dexterity modifier or my dexterity saving throw?
Saving throw
is +5.
Oh, yes.
Oh boy. Okay, so it's a 20, but not an at 20. Okay, Weston gets out of the way, but Bagyo, you're gonna take 2 damage, and now you guys are gonna roll for initiative.
What is initiative, by the way?
It determines the order in which you fight. So I've got 30, 40, 15.
And I have 17 plus 3.
So that means it's going to go... First one up is the Earth Genasi, and he's going to attack Griff. What's your AC again?
Oh, Griff. 13.
That's going to be a miss. So I'm going to say he stomps down in order to push you back, and that's a miss, and you don't take that. And then next is going to be you, Griff. What are you doing?
Well, I have my bow and my sword, right? I assume this is close combat, so I'm going to take out my sword and, like, jump in the air, fly around him, do, like, some type of flip. Try to get behind him and slice him in the back, maybe.
So you'd have to flank him. What's your speed?
25 out of 50.
Alright, okay, then that's going to work. Roll a d20 then. Alright, that's going to be a hit. So now you're going to roll the damage for your short sword.
Oh, d6? Okay. So does that mean I do 1 damage?
Yeah, you do 1 damage.
Damn.
Yeah, you slice at his let's say you slice at his cheek, and that's what happens. Next is going to be Bagyo. What are you doing? You going for earth or fire?
Okay, Bagyo's going to go after the fire guy because that pissed him off. Bagyo is going to use
Hi, I'm just popping in real quick. This is in post, pretty far in post, but I cut out nearly 5 minutes of BJ searching through his character sheet for what he's going to do next. Just context.
So it says, I've got an ability called Martial Arts as a monk, and it says you can use dexterity instead of strength for the attack and damage rolls of your unarmed strikes, or your monk weapons. So, I'm going to unarmed strike him. I'm going to punch him in the face.
All that time and effort, and you're going to punch him in the face?
Yes, but I'm going to use my dexterity towards my roll instead of my strength. So, 12 plus my dexterity modifier, which is plus 2.
That's a hit.
My unarmed turtle claw damage is 1d4 plus strength, but I can change that to plus dexterity instead. So let's go ahead and roll the d4. So that's 4 plus 2, 4, 5, 6.
Oof, okay. I'm going to say you do a little turtle flip over, and you punch him in the face so hard that it sends him into the wall.
Okay.
If you look at this in slow motion, he loses some teeth.
Oh,
like
cool.
you see.
I imagine Griffey sees me do the flip, and he's like,
Damn! I'm over here doing the yeet emote.
I just imagine it'd be weird to see this big giant turtle.
It is now the fire genasi.
How's he doing?
He's
by me looking at him right now, what does he look like?
He went into the wall, and now he seems a bit dazed. He's going to use his bonus action to get back up, so he can't move right now, but he can still send another fireball at you, and that's a 2. So I'm going to say that he tries to throw the fireball, and it just goes wildly out of control in the air, and it just kind of sputters out like some type of dud
Cracker?
Firework.
Cracker.
Okay.
Firework. Bottle rocket. That's what I was going for. And then it's back up to the ladder to the Earth Genasi, he's going to take out his hammer, and he's going to try and attack you, Griff.
Okay. Do I have some type of defense thing I can roll?
Yeah, it's your AC. What's your AC?
13.
Oh, okay, that's a hit.
Oh, he hits me?
Yeah, that's a hit.
Damn.
1 second. 1d4 plus 3. Oof. Okay, so how's 7 damage doing for you?
What's your HP?
Hit points?
Yeah.
9.
So he did 7 to you.
Damn.
Are you okay, Griffin?
I think I'll be fine, but he got me pretty good.
Hang strong, friend.
Yeah, he definitely got you pretty good. Now it's your turn, Griffin.
Okay.
Does he have any disadvantages right now where he's hurt bad, or so it's like he's dazed?
Yeah, so you roll twice, and you take the lower of the 2 numbers instead of advantage.
Okay. So what he hit me with again?
A hammer.
So-
It's like a war hammer.
So
Like
he's
bludgeoning damage.
he's pretty close to me. Is what I'm.
Yes.
Okay. So I rolled a d20 twice. It's a 10 plus 3, 13.
Oh, so that's a hit.
So I hit him back.
With your short sword. So roll your d6.
How many hit points does this guy have?
Well, you don't know that.
Okay. 2. I'm weak as hell, bro.
You slash down his chest.
Okay. Am I knocked right now and I need him to come revive me?
You're basically, it's kind of like concussion type stuff, but he's doing okay. He's not gassing out yet, but he seems to be sweating a bit.
Is it Bagyo's turn?
Yes, Bagyo.
Alright, so Bagyo's not going to attack the guy he attacked last time because the guy he attacked last time looks severely dazed from his attack. So Bagyo's going to attack the other guy because Bagyo don't want to hit a guy while he's down. Bagyo's going to attack the more healthy guy.
Which is the guy whooping my ass.
Yeah, but this time he's going to pull out his quarterstaff and say, "Time to get serious," and he smacks him with his quarterstaff. So let me roll an attack roll. Monk weapon. I can use my dexterity instead of strength. So it's going to be 7, 8, 9. Does that hit?
No, it does not hit.
Okay, so I'm missing.
And then we're going to go to the fire genasi, who's going to be like, "Oh, you're leaving me? You think, oh, I got you, boy?" And he tries to scorch you, and your AC is 17, so that's not going to get you.
Better luck next time.
Bitch. Then we're going to go to the Earth Genasi again, and he's going to attack Griffin again. What's your AC? 13?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a hit.
Damn.
That's going to be a D4 plus 3. So that's, how is 2 damage doing for you?
Kills me, I guess.
It doesn't kill
you're
you.
Not dead. When
You're
you go
knocked
to
unconscious.
When you go to 0 HP, you're knocked out.
Okay, so
You're knocked out, and once you hit negative 10,
Yeah, negative
then you're
10 is
dead.
when you're dead.
okay, well I'm at 0.
Okay, now does
So-
he have to roll the death roll every turn?
Yes, so now that it's his turn, you have to roll a d20.
What does he add to that? His constitution?
Nice. Okay, so you're stabilized.
Okay, so he's not dying right now.
Yeah, he's not. But it is Constitution.
Bagyo's gonna go, Griffin!
My constitution is
What's your
You're fine.
What's your Constitution?
Your 18 puts you enough. It doesn't really
plus
matter.
1.
19. Yeah, you're good right now.
Okay.
You're down, but you're not out.
So now it's Bagyo's turn.
Bagyo's like, no! So he's angry, and he's going to attack the one that knocked out Griffin.
The Earth Genasi, and the Earth Genasi says, "You brought this on yourselves, dude."
And you this! Dang it, I missed.
4. It whiffs him, just hit air, goes by him, and he just... And then, god damn, it's gonna be so hard fucking killing you. With 18 on his AC, attacking you, Bagyo, finally he tries scorching you, and he gets you, and that's gonna be D8. How's 6 damage doing for you?
Okay, I'm at 7, so that puts me at 1.
Oof, that got you. About to be turtle soup.
Damn.
Okay.
At this moment, can you roll a perception check?
Who, me?
Yes.
Okay.
That's gonna be good. You notice surrounding, if you're like looking around, that there's a bunch of children looking down on you from the rooftops, from all different sides, looking down, and they seem to be chanting something.
I say back, devil children.
You notice the Genasi look up and they're like, "What are you talking about? Singing about Zumba? Yeah, he is crazy." But then, this time, you're gonna get advantage.
So I'm going to attack the earth one again.
Yep.
7. Oh, I rolled twice, right?
Yep.
Woo!
Nat 20!
I'm gonna go ahead and take the 20, boss.
Here's the thing with nat 20s during attacks, you get double damage now.
Sweet. So I'm gonna attack with my quarterstaff, using my dexterity instead of strength if I want to, which I do. So it's gonna be 1d6 plus
It's a 5,
2.
7.
14?
So 14 damage.
Right?
Boy, okay, describe your killing blow.
Bagyo.
Wait. Doesn't kill, so non-lethal?
So I'm not gonna kill him.
You're gonna Batman him, dude.
Right. Bagyo doesn't kill Wes. It's part of his backstory.
That's why I said you Batman him.
Bagyo only kills if he just literally can't not kill the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if he has to. But
You
anyway.
knock him on.
So
conscious.
Bagyo pulls out his quarterstaff, does that thing where you spin the staff on one side and then on the other side, and then wham! Like he spins it around on his left and then to his right, building up momentum, and then wham on the side of the head.
And it's just like that big poof that echoes through the alley
Yeah,
and knocks the children, not the children.
knocks the children down. Yes,
Yes. Knocks the Genasi down.
How about this fire Genasi? What's he
What's
doing?
his friend doing?
He looks a bit bloodied, but he looks dumbfounded, but he notices that the other one's not dead, so he raises both his hands and they seem to be scorching higher and higher, and he starts raising his hands behind them. Can you roll a perception check with advantage?
17.
He has his hands up in the air, fire coursing through, and from behind, you see the dark-skinned half-elf man appear right before you again. With that same powder, he blows it, and the fire genasi falls to the ground. And here's what I want to say. Is it okay if I take the reins from this a little bit?
Yeah.
A little, yeah.
He's walking towards you, Bagyo, and you are just so tired, and you're on 1 HP, so you're not doing good.
No, I'm spent.
Still over here catching Z's.
He's walking up to you. You're gonna say one thing. What are you gonna say? What do you say to this man as he's walking towards you?
What are you after?
He walks up towards you and he says, "Well, you'll find out." And he takes the powder, puts it in his hand, and he blows it in your face as the camera and everything else fades to black.